Mine, I had. This is I had something similar, but they ended up good morning or afternoon, whatever it is.
Blended together.
Yeah, it's just like that's it.
Well, Scotland, yes. Ireland, no.
Where was it? Where are you gonna go in Scotland?
Well, not quite sure. We're going with some friends who have been to Scotland 3 times. They've never been there, so we're going to show them Ireland, they're going to show us Scotland. And I'm not quite sure where all this is.
Well, you'll probably end up in Glasgow, which is where, yeah, I don't know, my son Ian, he was here. He's living here, so.
Yeah, that's right. You and Kim have been there several times, if I recall.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call today's Thursday, March 8th meeting of the Missoula County Board of Commissioners to order. And if you will please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one public announcement today. This is a proclamation related to March for Meals Month, and Commissioner Rowley has agreed to read the proclamation.
Whereas the Meals on Wheels program at Missoula Aging Services is a valuable resource to older adults in Missoula County, and whereas more than 800 homebound elders and adults with disabilities received Meals on Wheels in the past year, with more than 101,300 meals served in Missoula County, that's a lot. Whereas volunteer drivers for Meals on Wheels are the backbone of this program through their dedication to bring not only hot, nutritious meals to clients, but also caring concern and attention to their welfare. And whereas Missoula Aging Services counts on these volunteers and the support of the community to serve the growing numbers of elders who need this service in order to remain in their homes. And whereas we wish to raise awareness and support for Meals on Wheels in Missoula and the surrounding areas. Now, therefore, we, the Missoula Board of County Commissioners, and the Mayor of the City of Missoula did as well, hereby proclaim the month of March 2018 as March for Meals Month in Missoula, Montana. We invite citizens to thank the caring volunteer drivers, recognize the value of this service to homebound elders and adults with disabilities, and encourage citizens to volunteer as Meals on Wheels drivers so elders may remain in their homes. And thank you to the representatives we have here from Aging Services. It's a fantastic service to our community, so thank you.
Thank you. And if you want to come on up, we'll get a picture with the presentation of the proclamation. Communications team.
Good job.
So we will in just a second open up a couple public hearings, but is there any public comment on items not on today's agenda? And if so, come on up to the microphone. Okay, yet another no take on that offer. So the next item, we have a claims list, our current claims list for Missoula County, and this would be for claims received as of February 16, 2018 to March 2nd, 2018 by the Commissioner's Office, and the total is $1,675,099.12. We have two public hearings today. The first has to do with some proposed changes to air pollution control program rule revision. And to introduce the item, do we have a staff report from Sarah Cofield?
Hello, my name is Sarah Cofield, and I'm Air Quality Specialist with the Missoula City County Health Department. What I'm bringing to you today is a clarification more than anything drastic or major. You would consider this is a big revision to the air quality rules. What we have here is Rule 4.112 of the Missoula City County Air Pollution Control Program. This is our wildfire smoke episode plan. Essentially, what it does is it allows us during a wildfire smoke episode to not put the rest of Chapter 4 into effect. Chapter 4 is our air pollution alerts and warnings chapter. So say in the winter when you have a really stagnant period of air pollution, we can call an alert a warning, and that puts into effect some regulatory actions such as limiting wood stove and fireplace use, and also requiring a change in practices from local industry. And if you think about it, those types of regulatory actions would not help anybody during a wildfire smoke episode. We realized several years ago that we don't want to be telling people stop using your wood stove in the middle of August because there's a fire on the hill. It doesn't help anybody, and it makes us look like we don't know what the heck's going on. And so in 2010, we put in Rule 4.112 into our rules that would allow us to forego those alerts and warnings if we knew that the reason that it was super smoky outside was because of a wildfire. We are proposing revisions to this chapter, this rule specifically, because of comments we received from the EPA during our PM10 redesignation request. They were going through our rules, and this one kind of made them say, huh. And they came to us, and they were concerned that it was perhaps too vague. And asked that we could put language into it that would codify what we actually do. Because if you notice, all this rule does is exempt us from doing really anything, but the fact of the matter is we do a lot during a wildfire episode. So what we're proposing is to add a lot of language to this rule that codifies what we do during a wildfire smoke event, which is issue health advisories. It helps define what a wildfire smoke event is, and reinforces the fact that we will use science and meteorological data to confirm that it is a wildfire causing the high particulate pollution, and not some other sources that could be better controlled with the regulations that are in place earlier in Chapter 4. So we're adding language to this rule, but we aren't changing the intent or the purpose of the rule. We're just trying to give ourselves some more language to explain really what we're doing. So this rule has gone through quite a bit of the adoption process already. We first went to the Missoula Air Quality Advisory Council in July. From there, they recommended the adoption of the rule. The Air Pollution Control Board held a public hearing on September 21st and adopted the rule at that time. We've been to the Missoula City Council for the Public Safety and Health Committee in February. They sent that to the committee, the City Council as a whole, to be scheduled as a public hearing. I believe that public hearing is going to be held on March 12th. And now we're here for the Missoula Board of County Commissioners public hearing. And from here, after we get through this public hearing and the City Council's public hearing, the rule will go to the Montana Board of Environmental Review. I believe their meeting will be April 6th. I didn't get the exact date until right before I came over here. And then they will have the final review of this rule change, and then it will have been, the process will have been completed. So, and then I've included in here the whereases. You should have a copy of it, I believe, already for your use. There's multiples. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. We might in just a second. I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there any public comment on what is before us, which would be to approve a resolution supporting revisions to Rule 4.112 of the Missoula City County Air Pollution Control Program? Any public comment? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any questions? Thanks. It sounds pretty straightforward. I guess one question, how would any of this additional language have changed, if anything, in actual practice this last summer during our extended smoke event?
You know, it really wouldn't. What the language has in here is, I need to go backwards on the thingy. The language that acts about what we do, it basically says we can identify that it's wildfire smoke causing the air pollution, which we do on a regular basis anyway, and that we will advise citizens via public meeting and our hotline of air pollution levels and health advisories. So there really wouldn't be, I think, any significant difference that I can even fathom. We basically just wrote down what we already do.
Okay, thank you.
I always think it's good to add clarity. Sometimes things can be a little bit too ambiguous, you're right, and we want to make sure we kind of have our side words defined a bit better. So I think this is a good thing to align our policy with our practice. So, with that, I would move to approve the resolution supporting revisions to Rule 4.112 of the Missoula City County Air Pollution Control Program.
I'll second that. Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Our second public hearing is actually to open public comment today on adoption of an update to the Missoula County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. And the public hearing, which will open in just a second, will run from today through April 12th, 2018, and we'll begin with a staff report from Adrian Beck.
Put me in the view show. Good afternoon, I'm Adrian Beck. I'm the director for the Missoula Office of Emergency Management. And for the last, I can just navigate from here, it's fine. So a Community Wildfire Protection Plan, often referred to by its initials of a CWPP, is a document that many communities have, and it's our way of kind of conveying what values at risk we have and the threat that they have from wildland fire. So our current CWPP was adopted in 2005, shortly after the legislation at the federal level made them recommended. It did a small update in 2013 when it incorporated the 2013 Sealy Swan Fire Plan into the original document. And so 2005 is a long time ago. We've experienced a lot of change, both in housing development as well as changes on the landscape from fire. So we initiated a process to conduct an update. Contacted several stakeholders, and in 2017 kind of started the process of getting input as to what, this seems really loud, to what a significant update should include. It was coordinated through our office and a consulting team and was funded through the Community Planning Assistance for Wildfire Program, or CPAW. Keep pushing the wrong button here. So we had great stakeholder engagement for the last 16 months from city, county, local elected local elected folks, federal and state agencies, pretty much all of the fire departments, and some nonprofit organizations as well. So to finalize this update and to adopt and implement the actions that are within there, we are recommending to open a public comment period for the public to review the update, starting from March 8th today to April 12th, and then to establish a public hearing for consideration of adoption on May 24th. So what's new in the update? Essentially, the big components of the update involve a new risk assessment, an updated action table that essentially kind of holds our feet to the fire to ensure that this isn't just another piece of shelf art, and kind of captures some of the wildfire history that we've seen over the last several years. Additionally, it's formatted in a different way, has a new layout that is more aligned with kind of new federal recommendations and is more closely aligned with the National Cohesive Strategy. Why don't we go backwards there? So the National Cohesive Strategy really has three components as far as creating fire resilient landscapes, promoting fire adapted communities, and improving response and suppression efforts across the jurisdiction. So in anticipation of public comment period and trying to engage the public in this process, we have created a webpage for all things CWPP. On that webpage, you'll find access to the 2018 draft, as well as the 2005 current CWPP and the 2013 Sealy Swan Fire Plan. CAPS, Community and Planning Services, has created a wonderful story map that's an interactive way for the public to kind of walk through the new update. We have some frequently asked questions also on that page, as well as links to provide public comment to our office. In addition to that, we are hosting a public open house here in this room on March 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., where we will have the opportunity to kind of engage the public a little bit more. All of the stakeholders that have been kind of critical to providing the information that is contained in this update will be on hand to answer questions that are specific to their expertise. So we're recommending that you open a public comment period for the dates listed here, March 8th through April 12th, and that we establish a public hearing for May 24th to consider adoption.
Thank you. So I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing, recognizing that some of you probably have not seen the document yet since it's just being released today. Adrian, yes.
Thank you. One point of clarification. So, want to make sure that anybody who's looking for the plan go to that website that was up earlier, because as we were getting close to the end here, the plan was undergoing some very last-minute changes, and so the most current, up-to-date plan is located on our website.
Excellent, thank you. So is there any public comment on the CWPP update for 2018? Come on up and state your name for the record. Mr. Holm.
My name's Harold Holm from Missoula. I live in the Rattlesnake. Really interested in what you're doing with this plan. I think you definitely can't do too much to make this community safer. I was here to talk a week or two ago about things that we're trying to do as the MELT organization, Montana Elders for Livable Tomorrow, working with the DNRC to see if we can't engage the public. So a lot of this is kind of simultaneously happening, along with the Clear the Air lectures at the University of Montana. They've had several speakers talking about wildfire, history of wildfire, and also the consequences of the smoke. Dr. Paul Smith talked about. I just want to invite you folks to meetings that we're having. We had our first meeting last night at the University Center Theater. There's about 100 people there and a lot of energy in the room. We got a bunch of questions from people, and which we're in the process right now of answering. And we showed basically a several-part presentation, which was started off with the Unacceptable Risk, which is a documentary film which was made down in Colorado. But the visuals are so powerful that you really ought to see this and see how things are working and how they're not working, and that homes can be ignited not just by a wall of flame, but more often than not by ember broadcast, which can travel for quite a distance, a mile, even more than a mile, and ignite things that are around people's homes. So our main push is the focus of the defensible space and the home ignition zone, which Jack Cohen came up with the term when he worked at the Fire Sciences Laboratory here. He was our primary speaker last night, and really has a powerful presentation. He's had all this experience. He spent 2 decades out there. He's been retired now, but he still maintains a presence in the fire community. And just really things that you wouldn't expect is what can happen to you. And people were really genuinely concerned after our regional fire we had last year here with how to protect their homes. And we had one presentation by a woman who actually survived the Lolo Peak fire because she'd done all this firewising and protecting of her home ahead of time. So she was really ahead of the curve. And we'd like to get everybody ahead of the curve. The next meeting we're having is going to be in Bonner, and that's going to feature the Unacceptable Risk film as well as a movie that Jack Cohen put together. And they'll have a lot of question and answer periods there. And on the 21st of, that's on Sunday, March 11th at 1 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, March 21st, that's the day before I think something else happens here, I noticed on the calendar. We're having a presentation very much the same as we had at the University Theater. And Jack Cohen will be at that, giving his talk, as well as showing this movie. And I think it'd be really helpful if people could see that you folks were there. And that sends a message of its own right. So I've got some brochures here of this meeting, if I could pass those out to you.
Sure, just hand them off here to Sarah. And where is the meeting on the 21st?
Oh, excuse me. That's going to be at the Best Western, Grant Creek,
Okay.
and that's at 7 p.m.
And you mentioned something happening on the 22nd, the next day?
No, you had something going on the 22nd, don't you?
I'm sure there's something going on.
Public meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
everything's kind of coming together, and there's a lot of energy in this community. The mayor's very interested in this, and we're trying to do things so that people can get assistance if they need it, which almost everyone does, in fixing up their homes so that they're ready. The title of our whole presentation thing here is Wildfire Ready or Not. So thanks for your time, and I hope you come up with a good plan.
Okay, thanks, Harold. Any additional public comment? Come on up to the mic.
Hello, I'm Joe Toth. I'm going to second. I'm another MELT member, and I'm just going to write on his coattails and add this to a couple comments on this great plan. Way to work forward with it. I highly encourage that we keep doing this with the coordination of all these agencies and other city government in our valley. That's one of the things we found out, a lot of information here with the DNRC and other information that's come out on the wildfire is the part and parcel of living here they're going to be around, and but there's a lot of valuable information. There's some misinformation that comes out there, I think, in the general public, so we're trying to inform people on a lot of different subjects. The homeowner in pretty much the urban interface, or even in the urban areas, it actually, Colorado found out, as we found out in Santa Rosa last year in California. I mean, you can have wildfire-affected urban mass fires burn through neighborhoods and because of the wildfire. So it's this home ignition zone and making your home safe. The other good thing that's happening with these presentations that Harold talked about is a lot of miscellaneous information that's coming out about the things you can do. And so it makes things an action item. It makes people aren't helpless in these situations, that they can do a lot with their own individual homes to make it safe. And part of that helps with the county end of things is when you have this plan in place, and it encompasses so many things having to do with wildfire. Good luck.
Thank you. Additional public comment at this time? Okay. Oh,
These presentations are free and open to all the public out there.
okay. Free is always a great price. Thank you. And refreshments. Additional public comment. Well, we'll go ahead and leave the public hearing open. We'll take this up again on April 12th. Between now and then, as Adrian mentioned, there will be an open house where folks can have the opportunity to dive in a little bit more into the specifics of the plan. It's unfortunate that there are no members of the media here today because this really is a big deal. So feel free to spread the word to folks that the draft plan has been released, and we are definitely, with this more extended public comment period, looking for input on the draft plan. So thank you, everyone. Any questions?
No, I would just like to thank everyone who's been involved getting it to this point. It's really been a huge collaborative effort, and we've been working so closely with so many partners. When I say we, I mostly mean other people, but I do appreciate Commissioner Strohmeyer has been very actively engaged in this project, more so than myself, so I very much appreciate the time and effort that you've put in and bringing your background and expertise to it, sharing that with all the stakeholder groups. It's really been amazing, so thank you. I'm expecting a good product.
Expectations are high. Thank you. All right. Is there any other business before the commission today? Okay. Seeing none, we will be in recess. Have a good day.